The little book, of Stoicism, right? A deep dive reflection guide for long-term personal mastery here, the Stoic Happiness, Triangle, blueprint for a flourishing life. So here, eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or true happiness, is the foundation here, Salgavo, right, frames this through a practical triangle, right? So here, virtue is what, that commit to living at your highest potential, aligning actions with values, right? Control is what here, that focus only on what lies within your influence, right? Your thoughts, action, and obviously here, reactions. Responsibility is what here, embrace ownership over your life's narrative, regardless of what lives throw at you, right? So here application, that how could we actually apply in it, right? Here when we actually faced with criticisms or failure, pause and obviously ask here, what part of this is mine to own, and obviously how can I respond in alignment with my best self. The dichotomy of control here, master your peace. The Stoics taught that here serenity comes from distinguishing the controllable mindset effort from the uncontrollable outcomes opinions, right? Use it daily here. Create two columns in your journal, inside my control versus outside my control. Let go of the second, double down on the first. Great for here creators facing online feedback or algorithm uncertainty. So here voluntary discomfort, train your life strong, right? So here challenge yourself with simple deliberate acts of discomfort to build resilience. So examples here, that take a cold shower once a week, skip your favorite food for a day, right? Walk barefoot, or here wear obviously unbranded clothes, right? So here these acts are training for moments when life feels unfair, giving you strength that pleasure seekers miss, right? So here negative visualizations and Memento Mori, here two mental frameworks to deepen gratitude and urgency. Negative visualizations here, imagine just losing some things or someone you value, this makes you more present and appreciate, right? So Memento Mori is here, remember you must die, a gentle reminder that life is fleeting and precious, right? So here journal prompt is what, if today were my last, what could I regret not doing, saying, or expressing. Point number 5 is what here, emotional mastery through mindful pauses, right? Here between stimulus and response lies a momentum of power. Stoics encourage cultivating the space. Practice this when upset, here take 3 slow breaths before reacting. Label the emotion here, this is frustrating and this is really frustration, respond guided by reason, not reaction, right? So you respond guided by reason, not reaction. So tips is what, amazing for scripting emotionally powerful video narratives where characters face internal conflict, right? So virtue above all, the 4 Stoic virtues are from your obviously compass, right? Your wisdom, first point is for wisdom, right? Your make informed thoughtful choices. Courage face difficulty with strength, temperance here, balance desires with discipline, justice is here, treat others fairly, act with integrity. When you feel lost, ask, what does virtue demand of me right now? 7th point is what, the obstacles is the way. Every adversity is an opportunity to train your character, shift perspective. This is not happening to me, but for me, use frustration as fuel, right? Use delays as lessons, use rejection obviously as redirection. Turn pain into power, personally or through compelling YouTube narratives that inspire and teach, right? So your next point is what, bird's eye view, bird's eye view from chaos to clarity. Zoom out from personal struggles. See yourself as a small but significant thread in the vast fabric of time and humanity. Visualize exercise, right? Here imagine yourself from here satellite view in a city, continent, planet. Now ask here, will this matter in 5 years? Helps reduce ego, anxiety, and over identification with temporary problems. Here health stoicism, quite inner strength, right? Here obviously you don't need to declare, right, your stoicism's practice in humbly. Let your choices reflect your inner growth. Stay calm in urgent arguments without boasting boasting your just control, right? So here help without seeking credit. Improve you know quietly, but steadily, right? Here this makes your virtue magnetic and performative, create threat for authentic content creations and moral storytelling, right? So your daily practice makes stoicism real. It's not philosophy if it isn't lived. Build routines that embody stoicism's. Morning ritual is what here set your intention, what virtue will guide me today, right? Evening here evening reflection is what ask, where did I act well, where did I fall short. Other practices is what here journaling daily, reading stoic passages or here summaries like this, challenging yourself weekly. Your optional additions is what silent walks, short fasts, time blocking, purposefully. Why it all matters. Jonas Saljevo, right, offers more than just another self-help lens, right? He distills ancient stoicisms into clear repeatable principles, right? His approach empowers a life of presence, strength, and grounded actions. For creators like Shubham, like Ismi, this stoic mindset does not just elevate, right, your personal growth, it profoundly deepens the emotional impact of your content, right? So here the next point is what stoicism versus mindfulness versus CBT, a comparative lens. What is here the point is aspect. First is what aspect is what origin, and the stoicism, if I'm talking about ancient Greek philosophy, right? And next is mindfulness, Buddhist tradition, secularized in modern psychology, so here cognitive behavioral therapy that we called CBT, right? Here developed in the 1960s by Aaron Beck and Albert Ellis, right? Core focus is what living virtually by obviously mastering thought and emotions, right? So here present moment awareness without judgment, identifying your restructuring your negative thoughts, right? So here the next point, how they actually how they overlap. So stoicism's mindfulness both emphasize awareness and acceptance. Stoicism's call this obviously prosok attention that we called, while mindfulness cultivates non-judgmental presence. Together they build emotional clarity and resilience, right? Stoicism plus CBT. CBT is deeply influenced by Stoic principles, right? Here Epictetus said here that it's not thing that upset us, right, but our judgments about things. Our core CBT idea both use cognitive reframing to challenge obviously irrational beliefs, right? Mindfulness plus CBT, here these combine in mindfulness based cognitive therapy that we call MBCT, right? So which helps prevent depressive relapse by teaching patients to observe thoughts without reacting to them. So here which one should you use for long-term life philosophy is Stoicism. For external awareness and presence here mindfulness. For targeted mental health support CBT or MBCT. So here they are not mutually exclusive. You can journal like a stoic, meditate like a monk, and reframe like a therapist all in one day, right? So here next point is what Stoicism's historical roots and cultural impact. Historical root is what here founded in Athens around 300 BCE, right, by Jano of Citium, after being inspired by Socratic teachings and Cynicism, right, taught at the Stoa Pokil, right, that is here painted porch, right, from which it gets its name. Developed through three phases, early Stoa, Zeno cleanse obviously here who systemized Stoic logic and ethics, right? Middle Stoa is where Panaetius and Posidonius, right, who breezed Greek and Roman thought. You have late Stoa that we call Seneca, Epictetus, right, and here Marcus Aurelius, right, who brought Stoicism into Roman imperial life, right? Here so culture impact is what here Roman Empire. Stoicism become a moral compass for obviously Roman
elites. It influenced law, governance and education, right? So here Christianity
Christianity is Stoic ideas about virtue, self-discipline, and obviously divine reason. Obviously influenced early Christian theology. Here Stoicism was revived during the Renaissance, right? Obviously shaping her ideas of civil virtue and rational ethics. So here modern psychology, Stoic principles underpin, right, cognitive behavioral therapy, that was CBT, especially the idea that our thought shapes our emotions. Contemporary culture is what here Stoicism is embraced by entrepreneurs, athletes, and creators for its emphasis on resilience, focus, and inner peace, right? So here mindfulness, historical roots, and cultural impact is here. That historical roots originates in here Eastern traditions, especially Buddhism's 5th century BCE, and Hinduism, as early 1500 BCE, central to Buddhist teaching, as sati, part of the eightfold path, right? Mindfulness, right here. So spread through Japan, that we call Japan, Vipassana, India, Southeast Asia, right here, practices, right? So here secularized in the West by John Kabat-Zinn in the 1970 through mindfulness, based on stress reduction, that we call MBSR. So a cultural impact is what Western psychology integrated into therapist, right here, like MBCT and ACT, helping with anxiety, depression, and trauma. That education and workplace are used to improve focus, reduce burnout, and obviously foster emotional intelligence. So cross here cultural adaptation here, mindfulness has been adapted across culture, from Abune to in Africa, right, to Sufi Dhikr in the Middle East. Cultural sensitivity is here, as mindfulness spreads, there is growing awareness of the need to honor its spiritual roots and avoid cultural appropriation, right? So here popular culture is what, from meditations apps to obviously corporate wellness, mindfulness has become a $1 billion in this industry, influencing how people relate to stress and presence. Actually, I'm so sorry because of the background noises and all, because sometimes when you are actually listening, there is a problem of background noise. So I'm so sorry for it, but try to manage it, right? So this is all about of today's book and the lesson of it, right? So I hope you liked it, right? So this is all about. Hope you liked it, and please subscribe my channel. So